shit's in the safe. Got me a spot out the way. Nigga just tryna be safe.
Let's get to sports talk.
I picked them to get the #1 seed in the West this year. That's clearly not going to happen. But still, I think a team that fancies itself a real championship contender. Is there anything besides my fake Drew Holiday trade to monitor here?
Well, I think they'd like to get more minutes and expanded role for Michael Porter Jr., their redshirt freshman, essentially, their #1 pick last year.
They specialize in those with Bol now.
Yeah. Like, they'll develop those guys. You know, Malik Beasley did not agree to an extension in the fall. He could be a restricted free agent this summer, and that's a name that, you know, teams around the league have said is available. And so if you move a Malik Beasley out, you know, it maybe starts to clear up some room. But I don't think we see wholesale change in Denver. I think their core is they're all.
Even though the Nuggets wanted to keep Malik Beasley, I think it had to do because he don't get that many minutes like he did last year. His minutes kind of decreased, so I think that's why he didn't resign. And Michael Porter Jr., they just trying to ease his way into this team. Like, he been out for a year, so they just trying to find a fit for him for the on his team and just figure out how to, you know, juggle his minutes. Like, how many minutes they want to give him. Is he ready to take on that load when they get him some more minutes? Because they just trying to be careful with him because they know his injury history. They just trying to, you know, just figure out a lot of things with him. So he gonna get more minutes as the season go on, but they just trying to figure out, you know, how they want to do this. That's why Malik Beasley probably ain't gonna sign. So he probably gonna be a restricted free agent.
Oh, your trade. You know, maybe Tim Connolly watches the show and decides to get involved in a potential Drew Holiday deal.
Hey, Malik Beasley made some big shots for them in the playoffs last year. There are playoff games they do not win without Malik Beasley last year.
He's a good player.
The team we haven't talked about yet, other than saying, remember the dynasty that happened, all that. Yeah. Golden State has a very interesting trade chip in D'Angelo Russell. They acquired him in a very complicated double sign-in trade over the summer. Minnesota courted him, took him on a helicopter ride to nowhere and all of that.
Yeah.
What kind of value? I mean, it's been a weird season. He's missed almost half of it. The team is totally injured and broken. What value does he have right now? And is don't you think they just wait till the summer to figure all this out?
I do, especially if you were going to move D'Angelo Russell. It isn't a big deal, and I don't. To me, a scenario where he could move is D'Angelo Russell and that #1 pick. Now, the Warriors could have the #1 overall pick in the draft.
You got to see where that baby is.
You've got to see where it is. You've got to scout the world this year, decide. Like, that would be, and he's not available, that would be like a Bradley Beal level player. You're getting a potential, you know, cornerstone pick and a 23-year-old all-star. That gets back a lot. So I think there are very few scenarios in the league where I think that's available to them. But
that's what I think they just signed him for, so they could have a spot they could trade for him. I think that's why they did it. It's like a tactic to know teams that we got D'Angelo Russell here, and we could trade him for another player to go along with this team once everyone's healthy. I feel like that's what it was. It was just a tactic to sign him to a big contract and move from him during this season. Like, because they got the #1 pick for next year. So it was just a tactic just to get him here so they could see what they could get for him as the season go on, because he did miss half of this year. He had injury issues as well, so they're gonna figure out what they're gonna do with him as the season goes on. Though, like, that's why I feel like they just signed him for that. You know, see what's out there for him in that market.
Doesn't make much sense for Golden State to be out there canvassing the league on D'Angelo Russell now. Wait till the season's over, see what it looks like. I know this. They're not going to be making calls on D'Angelo Russell. People may call them. You know, Minnesota had interest over the summer, but they weren't ready to. They couldn't give D'Angelo Russell a max contract, and they didn't have the space. He's got a max deal in Golden State. So you can see how Minnesota looks at the salary. I think D'Angelo Russell's playing this season at the very least, and maybe even beyond in Golden State. He's still a very valuable asset.
There's a healthy debate within the league about whether D'Angelo Russell has positive or negative trade value on that max contract. Because as you said, he got the full max, not a little bit less, the full thing. The bottom line is D'Angelo plus whatever that pick ends up being, that's where you let the playoffs play out and see if they create the playoff by outcome, creates a new star that wants out or a new situation that goes haywire.
Yeah. Like, they gonna want to see who will want to take on that max contract. Like, who willing to do that? Because Towns did say he want to play with Russell because him and Russell are good friends. He said he do want him to come play with him in Minnesota. Minnesota want to go give him that full max like Golden State did. Like, if they willing to take on that max contract, like who else around the league willing to trade for D'Angelo Russell with that big contract coming with him?
And whatever the best deal for D'Angelo Russell that exists now or in February will be there again in the summer. There is no rush.
And Zach, trading that kind of a really high draft pick can be very short-sighted. Even though you want to get another elite player on, around the age and the career trajectory of Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, you've got a chance. If it's a James Weissman and Anthony Edwards, those are hard players to trade away for a 30-year-old somewhere. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For highlights and analysis, check out the ESPN.